Oh, gee. Bogus reason for the sell-off yesterday and late last week. Oh, Trump's going to fire Powell. I told you it was a made-up excuse just to create a sell-off to get people to panic sell, to get the herd to panic sell, so the institutions can buy things on the cheap. That's all it was. Out of their same playbook, they always do this. Now comes out and says, I have no intention of firing Powell, Fed Chair Powell. The market closed, and now futures are soaring back up. And again, you're going to see some kind of deal negotiations happen with China. Trump's going to end up pausing the tariffs. It's all going to happen. Everything the media tells us isn't going to happen will happen. It runs around and tells, oh, Trump's going to fire Powell, trying to rattle markets. And I told you, it was a made-up excuse for the sell-off, creating our higher low that we've been talking about. Countries aren't going to come to the negotiating table. Countries come to the negotiating table. The tariffs aren't going to just stay in place and we're going to economy crash. Tariffs get paused, as I told you they would. Now we're being told China's not going to come to the negotiating table. Again, the media is going to be wrong on that as well. Media is telling us we're going to the next Great Depression right now. Again, the markets are likely bottoming. Again, you're going to see the rally of hope continue as I continue to warn. A rally, that's not supposed to happen. I thought Trump was going to fire Powell. We were told that that's going to happen and the stock market's about to crash. Headlines yesterday is everything's worsening. It wasn't worsening. We weren't making new lows. And again, the herd loves to drink the media's Kool-Aid. They absolutely love it. He is telling us the next Great Depression is coming, and I'm telling you, you're going to see a rally of hope. Continues to look like Trump and China are negotiating behind closed doors. I think Trump's going to pause the tariffs. I think China is going to pause the retaliatory tariffs. Things will de-escalate, and that's why we had the rally today. Exactly what I've been telling you. Been told there's no possible way that's going to happen, and yet it's happening. Media wrong again. Herd telling us no possible way we get a rally back up, no possible way of a bottom. The herd, again, they get extremely bearish at bottoms. Very, very bullish at tops. Again, we now have a massive rally recovering most of the losses from yesterday, and in some cases, all of them. I was up 2.66%, up over 1,000 points. The S&P was up 2.5% and recovering the sell-off. Institutions, so-called experts, and the media push the narrative. Oh, Trump's going to fire Powell. Ah! I heard running around with their hair on fire. The institutions want to buy at a discount, so they want to push it back to test the lows. What's going on? And that's what I said yesterday. Incredible how duped the herd is with this stuff. It's absolutely incredible. The stuff that they believe. Incredible. NASDAQ up 2.71%. The Russell up 2.71% as well. The VIX down just over 9.5%. The VIX predicted today's rally. By the way, yesterday, again, the VIX was up over 10%. The VIX told us that we are going to have either a bounce or a bottom in the next two trading sessions. The VIX got it right yet again. By the way, in after hours, we have Tesla reporting, and we've got earnings, some important earnings this week, some Magnificent Seven stocks. Here's Tesla. Tesla reports disappointing earnings. We have Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent come out and say that he expects de-escalation in the U.S.-China tariff fight very near future. And what do we get? We get a rally of what? What have I been telling you? A rally of hope. Who told you this was going to happen? It looks like that we had that zero hedge story break previously. And again, it looks like that Trump is possibly negotiating behind the scenes. Things that Trump has said, the Treasury Secretary, it looks like they are possibly already negotiating behind the scenes. That's what it appears to be. I expect that they're going to announce formal negotiations. Trump will pause the tariffs. They're probably negotiating the terms of negotiation. Says he's expecting a deal. Again, they don't even get to maybe they're cutting a deal now. Who knows? But I expect that they're going to go into formal negotiations that will likely take a long time. Why do I say that? Because we've seen this before with China, and they negotiate things, they make a deal, and it's nothing but paper. they don't honor their agreements. So the U.S. has got to learn their lesson, and they've got to verify everything that China claims that they're going to do, not just take their word for it, because we've already been down that road and China lies. That's why we have the trade problem, is because China lies. They steal intellectual property from U.S. companies. They manipulate their currency. They cheat on trade. If you go into China, in many cases, they hijack the companies. Companies have no rights, no legal rights in the courts over there. I mean, it's just absurd, the stuff that is going on. Hopefully, they'll fix all of that. Like I said, they need to verify these things because, again, it has proven that they're not going to honor the agreements that they make. And it is what it is. So the rally today, rally of hope that I've been predicting, we've likely bottomed. We're probably now setting up the higher low. Bitcoin's already broken out. All the other cryptocurrency altcoins, they're starting to break out now. Stock market's going to follow Bitcoin's lead. If you're still looking for Cramer's Black Monday crash of 25%, you got a long wait. You got a long wait. It got down to the lows. The herd got extremely bearish. The bears got extremely bearish. Then the leader of the pack, Cramer, comes out and tells us we're going to have Black Monday. We're all going to die. Ah! We bottom. Like I told you we were in a bottoming process. I believe we've already bottomed. And again, all you got to do, look at what's going on with Bitcoin. Market's going to follow Bitcoin down. It's going to follow Bitcoin back up. Bitcoin's the asset with the most volatility. It's the leader. We're going to play follow the leader. It's broken the downtrend. Okay, it's now breaking out as I speak. We're up nearly 4.64%. We're up near 5% higher there, testing our 100 period moving average here, breaking the cloud, breaking out of a double bottom pattern. We still may back test like that and go down. Market play catch up, certainly possible. Broken the downtrend. You've broken out of the overhead resistance, and you're testing the 100 period. Coin follows the 100 period, so does the S&P. It's got to get back above it to turn it around. Coin's clearing the 200 period moving average. It could drop back below it. We're going to see what we have here. The 10's getting above the 20. The 10's getting above the 50 now here with Bitcoin, and we've had this massive rally from 74,000 all the way to just under the 92,000 area. Massive rally. We were told was not going to happen. I'm telling you, again, you think that the stock market it's over and it's cooked. You're probably going to see the stock market rally for several months into the summer, maybe into the fall, probably into July, August, or September before it peaks. It's going to go make a new high too. Bullish divergences are playing out. The bearish divergence marked the top for Bitcoin, the December and the January top, and Bitcoin crashed and the market followed it. Bitcoin's surging and the market is back into above the January low, the S&P, and well above Trump's Liberation Day and all the tariff stuff that happened. We're well above that area over here, way above that. We recovered way above it. So you're going to see the same thing happen with the stock market. So again, MACD's got the bullish diversions moving into positive territory. I talked about all this before it happened. Talked about the divergences back over here, Bitcoin's average price. Now we're confirming the double bottom pattern with the breakout here. Again, we could either get a pullback on Bitcoin to the back test, or we could back test. We could go higher and back test the horizontal level there, the horizontal breakout. We don't have to pull back all this way. Okay, so again, we may not. The best moves don't back test. Getting a breakout of the trend line, you're getting a breakout of a double bottom, the confirmation line. If we can continue to get above the 100 and get closes above it, again, you may just pull back and then test it one more time and then go on your way and not get a deeper pullback. Very encouraging for traders of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ because it's likely going to follow Bitcoin. Please support the channel with the link directly below that allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel. If you could take a moment to do that, it takes a lot of time and effort to do this. Sharing with you my indicators that I look at every day. If you like the chart, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel. If you could take a moment to do that, just follow the link below. It'll take you to a secured site. You could donate any amount you want or make it a recurring donation. If you do that, I thank you. If you could take a moment to step up to the plate and help me out, I would appreciate that. Most YouTube channels make their money by sponsors. I choose not to do that. I don't want to sell you a bunch of stuff you don't need. I just ask that you do what you can to help out. So if you could take a moment to do that, I would really, really appreciate it. I thank you for your consideration for that. S&P 500 needs a bullish reversal of conditions. We could see that tomorrow. We could see it before the weekends if Trump announces a pause of the Chinese tariffs. If we hear of formal negotiations announced, which I think is likely. I told you I think we probably are going to set up a higher low. And again, we had the MACD rollover turning right back up. Again, there's still risk of a divergence, but I keep telling you, I think that is likely. We bounced here off horizontal support in the weekly time frame. The risk is we go down to the 200-week moving average. And at the 2023 sell-off at the low, we didn't reach the 200-week moving average. So we don't have to reach it. We could. I think it's more likely we get a higher low. I think we're going to eventually head back up towards the 200 and the 50 as they've gotten a death cross. Again, with the S&P, you've got the possibility of an inverse head and shoulders pattern here, which I think is possible. Or slanted neckline, or, if not horizontal. I told you I was looking for red oscillator bars. We got that. Tells us we're either going to get a divergence or a confirmation of a higher low. My guess is we're going to see a higher low. We need to flip this back to green, the bars back to blue. Last time we did that, we get rejection at the 200. This time we could rally to the 200 in the 50-period moving average if we see that happen. The weekly chart of the S&P, again, the risk is we still come down to our 200-period moving average here at 4690. Scenario is that we've bottomed. Didn't quite reach it like in 2023, and that we eventually move back up here to the 10-week and the 50-week moving average and the 20-week moving average here for a test, these moving averages here in the weekly time frame. Same thing with the NASDAQ weekly chart. The risk is we go down to the 200-week moving average, 15,785 is that level. If we get a higher low, we need to get back up above the 10-week moving average and move to test the 50-week moving average, almost equivalent to the 200-period moving average in the daily time frame. Weekly chart here of the NASDAQ. We had those failed breakouts in February here above the December high with NASDAQ and the S&P above the January high. We had the failed breakouts. I talked about that at the time. Had the bearish reversal of conditions, tried to turn around, stalled up the 200. Got the bearish reversal of conditions, and then we've rallied back up now to the 20 here and the 20 here and the 20 back over here. Since we got that, 20's been acting as resistance. You can see what happened with Bitcoin, happened with NASDAQ. It gave you that 10 back above the 20 if we get a big surge back up to the 50 and the 200, which I think is likely going to be the case. Again, I think we're probably going to confirm a higher low. NASDAQ's MACD couldn't roll over. S&P had it roll over but turned right back up. I think you're going to end up confirming a higher low. The risk is we go down to those 200-week moving averages and bottom. The bullish scenarios, we've already bottomed, and we're now getting the final phase of the blow-off top. Said when we rally up, and we're being told there's no way it's going to happen by the bears, when we rally up here, they're going to tell us counter trend rally. Actually, we'll exceed these levels and go back, challenge the highs. I think we will exceed them. The bears will end up throwing in the towel, do it every top. The rally will be so powerful, third will get extremely bullish. Bears will end up throwing in the towel, have total complacency, and that's what we'll end up seeing. And the sentiment, the negative sentiment we have right now, will go away. That's what happens at topping processes. Again, can we see a bullish reversal of conditions? You could see it tomorrow. If something happens today, tomorrow, or before the weekends, I think it's going to. I think Bessent, Treasury Secretary, whose name I just butchered, sorry about that. I think he's hinting of what's about to happen and what I've been warning you about in each and every video in the recent days here. And the S&P completely recovered yesterday's loss, going back up and filling the gap. The S&P was down 125 points yesterday, down 2.36%. Today it was up 2.5%, recovering all of the losses. Up just under 130 points, rounding up 130 points. Up just over 129.5 points. S&P, again, very well could be setting up a higher low. We can end up getting back above the 20-period moving average. We could see it announced this week. We could see it announced tomorrow. Keep saying it over and over and keep being shouted down. Told I'm a Neanderthal for daring to think that China would come to the negotiating table when it looks like they're already negotiating with the Trump administration behind the scenes. People oblivious to economics. China has a choice. Either they come to the negotiating table or they go into an economic collapse. They need the United States. Export into the United States 5 times the amount that the U.S. exports into China. Europe will just buy their stuff. They'll just buy their own stuff. It's a bunch of nonsense. They need the U.S. consumer. People do not understand economics. Choice. They go to the negotiating table or they go into an economic collapse. Guy tell me, they've survived 5,000 years without the U.S. just fine. People don't know their own history. The communists are in power over in China because, one of the factors was hard economic times. Again, I believe we're going to get a big rally up. I believe that we've likely bottomed with the hollow red candlestick, and we're probably going to set up the higher low here, as I continue to say. I believe that, again, P has completed an ABC move that is likely corrective. It's probably already done a 3-leg push lower. Again, that means that we're likely going to recover and move to new highs. And that's probably going to go into the summer, probably into July to September somewhere, and then you're going to get a top. All this stuff with tariffs is going to calm down. You're going to have trade negotiations. Again, out of the 180 nations that are having tariffs imposed upon them, most of them are moving to the negotiating table, in line to get to the negotiating table. It's telling us we're moving into the next depression, and that wasn't going to happen. I told you it would. Guess what? It's happening. It told us Trump was going to impose his tariffs, and that was the end of it. It's over. We're all going to follow Trump off the economic cliff. I told you that you're going to see Trump pausing tariffs. You're going to see trade deals reached. You're going to see negotiations happen. What did we see happen? The very day of the launch, Trump pauses the tariffs. How did I know that? Well, guess what? Just prior to that, he did the same thing with Canada and Mexico. The same thing back in 2018. That's why I talked about it so much. Told there's no way that's going to happen. Now we're being told there's no way China's coming to the negotiating table. Way Trump's going to pause the tariffs. I've read an article yesterday telling us how we're going into the next Great Depression because of tariffs on China. So-called experts had told us we were going to have a soft landing. Keep being told that, the U.S. tariffs, those cause recession and inflation, but no other tariffs do. I've never heard such stupid arguments. And to believe this stuff, you got to really be a Kool-Aid drinker. There are countries, like I said, Asia and Europe have extremely high tariffs. What the media is telling us is true. They would be in permanent recession. They would be have hyperinflation. There you have it. But look, we're getting this rally today, up 2.5%. This is what I think is going on. I think the death cross is marked a bottom. Oftentimes the death cross, you'll get the bottom just before the death cross or just after it. Times it marks a major correction. We've had 5 times now during the bull market where we've dropped 20% or more. Other times it's been big drops as well. We've dropped 17% in 2016. Early 2018, another big percentage drop. And the flash crash in 2010. There have been other drops. They're bigger drops, 20% or greater, now 5 times with those bull market. The 5th one, I think it's going to end up taking us to new highs, but then I think we're going to top. Not going to have the Great Depression. We're going to have a bad recession. So I think you're going to get this 5-leg push higher. I think we're going to go into the summer. I think you're going to see new highs. It could drag on into the fall, certainly possible. But this move is corrective. You're likely going to make new highs. It's likely going to be a 5-leg push higher. Again, if this is not corrective, you need another leg down. And then you need the Fed to panic and start cutting rates. If we've topped, that's what needs to happen. 21% drop in the S&P. The Fed is now panicked. Powell is concerned about the economy because of the tariffs, because of the Fed's policy, but because of the tariffs. Still concerned about inflation. The Fed making the same exact mistake they made in 2007. They're concerned about inflation when they should be concerned about the coming recession. This is what I think is likely going to happen. You could still end up forming a divergence if we go lower. If you do, then you've got a possible 5-leg push lower or an extended wave C, as I've talked about. I think that, again, you're likely trying to carve out a higher low here. And again, I think we've completed an ABC low here that has likely marked the bottom. Bitcoin has already broken out of a double bottom. It did it today. It already broke the downward trend line. It is likely going to follow Bitcoin. Go watch my latest Bitcoin video. I'll link it at the end of this video. You'll see what I've been saying about Bitcoin is now happening, and the market is likely going to follow. Bitcoin's had an explosive move off the lows. Again, the stock market is likely going to do the same thing. And again, Bitcoin likely just getting started. It's going to also move to new highs, and again, probably double and go into the double from the lows that we just had at 74,000 or so. Probably more double that. That's probably going to happen over the summer with the stock market on into possibly the fall. Sell-off has actually bought the market more time. We get the rally back up, recovering. We gapped lower yesterday. We gap higher today. Again, very well could have been a gap and trap yesterday. Here we have another gap. It could be a gap and go or a gap and fill if we've bottomed right here. Again, this is what I think is likely going on, that we pull back, that we have completed the wave 4 in an ABC move over here in our 60-minute time frame. And I think that, again, you got a possible leading diagonal, could be in sections of 3s. If that is the case here, sections of 3 with 1, and then 2, and then, again, we could be getting 3. And, again, we can blow past these levels. It could be bigger. It could be smaller. We'll see how it unfolds. But again, looking at the gap up here, the gap fill area right up here. I'm looking at the horizontal resistance up here, looking at the 200 period moving average and the low over here. If we break above this red dotted line right here and clear the 200, which I think we're likely going to do, then you invalidate the bearish count. You validate a 3-leg push lower, which is what I think is likely taking place. So this is what I think is likely going on. I think you're getting a wave 1, and it may be bigger than I have drawn here. It may be close to this. It could be a leading diagonal here if we have overlap. Daily chart, we just saw it. I have a bigger wave 1. Again, just relating on both. Here's a smaller size. The daily chart, I have the bigger one. Wave 1 is carving out. Bearish count, again, if the S&P is topped, you need a 5-leg push lower. We do not have that right now. You have a 3-leg push lower. A push above the red line, above 5504.65, and validates the bearish count. If we are setting up a higher low here, or go a little bit deeper and set up a higher low, and still end up coming up here and getting above 5504, with not going to a new low, without going to a new low, you're invalidating the bearish count. So see if this low from yesterday can hold. Or do we go a little bit lower and it's not done yet? Or do we end up pushing to a new low? Again, my guess is we're going to set up a higher low. As I keep saying, you got a good shot that the correction is done. This is the bearish count. The bears need this to happen. Rally back up. In today's rally, we were told that wasn't going to happen. We were told the rally when Trump paused the tariffs on the launch date. We were told that wasn't going to happen. That historic rally that we had, 9.5% in one day on the S&P, 12% on the NASDAQ. We're told there's no way that's going to happen. We go higher, back up to test the 200, and we will. The bears tell us counter trend rally, and again, you have a 3-leg push down, and if you don't move to a new low, it's not a counter trend rally. You're going to end up moving to new highs, but we're likely going to move up here, stall around the 200 period moving average. Bears will go, see, I told you that, and they're telling us right now, we're not going to rally. They told us over here, back at the lows there, was it April 7th? They're going to have Black Monday. Remember Cramer running around telling us here? Somebody repeating it on social media that we're going to have Black Monday and 1987 crash all over again, where we dropped 25% in one day. Didn't happen, did it? Cramer tried to walk it back. Oh, we all got to be calm. Cramer saved us all. People like Cramer, Bird, extremely bearish at bottoms, extremely bullish at tops. I'm going to be watching. Do we invalidate this bearish count? Eventually, I think you're going to get back above that 200 period moving average and again rise to test it, my guess is we're going to end up moving to new highs. I believe this move is corrective, as I've said. Same thing for the Nasdaq. Do we get back above the 200? I think you're going to end up getting back above these 200 periods. You're eventually going to see these 50s get back above the 200. We drop below the cloud, we drop below the 50, but we're doing that to set up a higher low in all likelihood. When you get back above the 200, eventually the 50 will get back above it. We already have that with Bitcoin, and it's a 4-hour time frame, almost equivalent to these 60-minute charts. And now we see Bitcoin soaring last 2 days, which my signals correctly predicted would happen. I remain extremely bullish on Bitcoin. The IBIT ETF of Bitcoin has already gotten the 50 above the 200 period moving average on its 60-minute chart. The stock market is going to follow suit. You're going to come back and fill all these gaps up here on the Nasdaq, and again, above our 200 period, the 50 will eventually get back above it. Nasdaq 60-minute chart, we've got these MACDs turning back up, likely confirming a higher low. We already got one over here, and our hollow red candlestick on the 60-minute chart of Nasdaq likely marked a bottom. So again, I think you're going to see this surge, and I think it's going to happen. Trump pauses the tariffs on China or reduces them, or says that he's going to pause them if they come to the negotiating table, or whatever, however it plays out. They're going to get paused or they're going to get reduced. Market is going to continue a rally of hope. We got the rally of hope when Trump paused the reciprocal tariffs over here. Now we get a rally of hope. Treasury Secretary coming out and saying that de-escalation between the U.S. and China with the trade, the tariffs is likely going to happen here the very near future. Again, I keep saying it. I said it last week, said it before Trump paused the tariffs, launched them. What was that, the 9th? You're going to see these countries coming to the negotiating table, and you're going to see China do it as well. And again, got a good chance we're going to see that any day now, possibly tomorrow or before the week ends. I think you're going to see a rally of hope. You have that happen, what is the stock market going to do? It's going to get another record rally, or at least attempt to get a massive rally, if not getting some kind of record rebound again like what we had previously. Trump paused the tariffs on the day of the launch. I keep saying it, people have to be extremely naive not to believe that countries are not going to come to the negotiating table. Seeing it with most of the countries, China is going to come to. People are so naive. They want to believe the Kool-Aid. It's absolutely incredible. It's all going to happen, and the media telling us it's not. They're going to be proven wrong again, just like they were proven wrong now about all these countries coming to the negotiating table. It's over, and there's no hope now. What does Trump do? He goes out and he pauses the tariffs on the very day of the launch. The media was wrong about that. Be wrong about China as well. Nasdaq 60-minute chart, and again, you got a possible inverse head and shoulders. If we can come up here, you got a possible neckline that could develop around this gap area right here. If we end up trying to form an inverse head and shoulders pattern, so just something we're paying attention to. The S&P is doing the same thing. Got to get the MACD back into positive territory. We're already seeing the RSI move back above 50. So again, we've got to get back above our 200 period. Got to get the 50 back above the 200. I think you're going to see a surge like we've seen with Bitcoin. The market's going to follow Bitcoin's lead. Bitcoin's already broken its downward trend line. Nasdaq's likely going to do it when it gets back above the 20 period. You're going to see that happen. And again, we're going to rally towards the 50 and the 200 period here in the daily time frame. We've reached extremes. You can still form a divergence, but again, you don't have to. And again, if we have a 3-leg push down, you very well could be done, because again, we've already invalidated this as a wave 4, because you've had the overlap of wave 1 and wave 4. They can't overlap unless it's sections of 3 in a leading diagonal to the downside. I don't think that is in play here. The 3-leg correction is likely done. MACD could not cross over. Look at this. The MACD could not cross over, and the stochastic is still hovering around 50. It could turn back up. We could get a massive rally. I could be coming on the video tomorrow talking about the massive recovery that we've had if Trump announces a pause to the tariffs. He could do it at any time. He could do it this week. It is very possible. I'm told there's no way that's going to happen. I think it is extremely likely. Ready for all the bears to counter trend rally, because we're likely Bitcoin's already at 100 and overthrowing it and overthrowing the cloud. It's already doing it. It's already up here at the 100 period. Again, Bitcoin can back test the breakout of the trend line, but you're likely going to, again, see NASDAQ eventually try to get above this trend line. Don't have to have a divergence on the MACD or the RSI. Chart of the NASDAQ here. Death crosses might have taken place having already marked the bottom. Often plays out that way. If the S&P is going to firm a higher low, we've got to see all of the red go away. We've got to see this turn around. The intraday, same thing here for the daily. We got to see momentum. This line right here is momentum. This represents the trend. They're both bearish right now. Got to get the bars back to green. Get momentum in the trend back to bullish, get above those levels. I think that's going to happen. We're already seeing all of this happen with Bitcoin. You have the same thing happen with Bitcoin as you did with the S&P. Bottoming signals, that was followed by momentum signals trying to turn bullish. Since then have turned back to bearish with the S&P, did turn bullish. We have to see them turn back to bullish as Bitcoin, them turn bullish, and flip the trend signals. But the signals here, they're going to tell me exactly when it's over. And I think we've likely bottomed, and I think we're in the process of setting up a higher low. And if it's done, you need to get a higher high above this level right here and start flipping this around. What could do that? Oh, gee, China coming to the negotiating table, pausing the tariffs, formal negotiations of being announced. No way that's going to happen. And we'll eventually see S&P move above its trend line. You know, the NASDAQ turned off of its trend line with that rally, historic rally that happened. S&P didn't reach it. Again, we're likely going to reach it and eventually turn this around. But again, the signals have been bearish since right after the top. And when they turn back to bullish, this will be over. And get ready for the bears to counter trend rally, the rally that we've already started. Get an even bigger rally, the rally they're telling us it's not going to happen. And when it does happen, they'll yell counter trend rally. Got to get a rally, a big rally above our previous highs over here to turn my signals all back to bullish. The rally so far failed. We reaffirmed some bearish signals here. We still got a bullish cloud going on though. If we establish a higher low, we got to get up here and flip all of this back to green. Again, did a very good job of marking the top. They're going to do a great job at marking the bottom. If we do mark the bottom, again, we're going to go a whole lot higher, in my opinion, to new all-time highs. We have bottoming signals on the S&P and NASDAQ, very similar to what we had with Bitcoin. And again, we just got to turn things around by moving back to the 200 period moving average on the S&P and the NASDAQ, just as Bitcoin has now done, and it's overthrowing it in a massive rally back up. Bitcoin's probably going to have a cooling off period, pulls back, it's already broken out. S&P and NASDAQ are likely right behind him. The bottoming signals, just like Bitcoin did over here. And now, again, we're getting more. Now the bars are flipping back to green with today's rally. Got to get the momentum like Bitcoin did right back into positive territory. Got to start flipping the trend signals all back to bullish. The cloud is already bullish here. So again, a good start. More work needs to be done. We had the momentum line turn bullish, blue. Do you see the little momentum line there? And it turned right back to red. Got to flip that around. A massive rally back up. And again, I think it's coming where you're going to get some kind of pause with the tariffs, reduction of the tariffs, or majority of the tariffs paused, but likely a pause of the tariffs, Trump's tariffs, and then China pauses their retaliatory tariffs, and cooler heads prevail, and they go to the negotiating table, and the markets are going to explode on that. Nobody thinks, are you kidding me? I posted that. I had so many darts thrown at me. Posted that, a couple of posts about that scenario that I'm talking to you about, and herd came at me with torches and pitchforks. And I think you're going to see things turn around here, and I think you're going to see some really record rallies going on here and continuing. I think we're going to get a massive rebound. Institutions it down last week, late last week, and on Monday, oh, Trump's going to fire Powell. Want to buy on the cheap. And then the herd, they panic sell, making sure they drink the Kool-Aid. Then we get a massive rally back up, recovering all the losses from the previous day because the institutions wanted to buy at a discount. Herd falls for it every single time. It's like Charlie Brown and Lucy. Lucy puts the football out, which is the institutions. Charlie Brown runs for it to go kick the football. He's the herd. Then she moves the football out of the way, and he ends up kicking the air and falling. The herd does it every single time. They'll fall for it every single time. Institutions just, sit back and laugh. The kind of games that these people play. I've been warning about a Bitcoin bottom and a massive rally, and I warned on Saturday in my Bitcoin videos that Bitcoin was about to have a massive rally. I was right. I create a lot of my own indicators, and here I wrote this program. I marked it to catch when the change in trend happens, when the swing move happens, and it did a beautiful job of that. Stars turning back to blue. This is a Bitcoin daily chart. This is the S&P. Very soon, the S&P daily chart here, you're going to see it follow Bitcoin's lead and do the exact same thing Bitcoin is already doing.